Yo, what's good, yo? Welcome to another episode of Fun with Dumb. Before we get into this new episode, I just want to say it's almost been a year since we started this show, and I'm so grateful for all the cats who've been listening, who's tuned in, subscribed, spread the word, and I'm so happy about all the guests that I've had on the show. So in celebration, I'm dropping the first ever piece of merch, a Fun with Dumb t-shirt with the logo. You could get it in two colors, the logo in pink or yellow on a white t-shirt. Man, thank you guys so much. This is just, I want to thank everybody who's tuned in, and I haven't made any money off the shit, but I just love doing it. And anybody who, cops a t-shirt, this will help just further improve the show, keep it more consistent, maybe get some new equipment. I don't know what we could do to improve this shit, like throw some ill-ass props or something on here on the set. But yeah, thanks everybody who's tuned in. We're quickly approaching the 50th episode, and man, I couldn't be any happier with all the guests we've had on this fucking show. And it's only gonna get crazier and better. So go right now to dumbfounded.com and purchase a t-shirt. I would greatly appreciate it. www.dumbfounded.com. We'll put the image or the text over here. You can check it out. And cop a t-shirt before we run out. Peace. Yo, what's good, yo? Welcome to another episode of Fun with Dumb. Today's guest I met through one of my best friends, Aquafina, one night, I think close to just like during that time where all the press, like Crazy Rich Asians press was happening. One night I was at my bar in Koreatown, like the spot that I usually go to, and Aquafina just brought like the whole cast of like Crazy Rich to that bar, and it was just weird seeing, because it's like a shitty little dive bar in Koreatown, so it was like weird seeing the
That's
whole
not it
cast.
at all. What are you talking about? It's the piazza of Koreatown,
It
man.
is. It's great. It's great.
Yeah, you're downplaying.
I don't know
humble.
why. I don't know why I'm shitting on my own bar. It's
trying
like
to be humble. No, man, it was a great bar. It's good vibes as well, and I think oftentimes great food. But, I mean, oftentimes late night, you just want to go somewhere you can have a conversation.
Right.
Especially when you're with friends. So I picked up on that vibe immediately because that's what I look for in New York.
For sure.
Or anywhere, any city. I mean, after I do shows, I'm always like, yo, where's the quiet spot where we can have a conversation?
And let me take that back because, the owner loves me, by the way. And I'm just like, this shitty bar, blah, blah, blah. No. It's a great bar. And that's why I met you. And, yeah, man, I was familiar with you on the Daily Show, but I wasn't familiar with you on your stand-up stuff until I looked it up. And more videos, I feel like just have surfaced more of you doing stand-up after that, and all that stuff. But I'm here with Ronny Chieng did I pronounce that right?
Sure,
Chieng?
Ronny Chieng, yeah.
Ronny Chieng, of the Daily Show and stand-up comedian. How you doing, sir?
Hey, man, thanks for having me. What a beautiful creative space you have here.
Thank you, bro.
I love the creative. Like office space,
random toys like a Kim Jong-un crying. We got Donald Trump here. I got
Astro Boy,
the Yellow Ranger.
You got Yellow Ranger,
one of the OGs of
representation,
Asian representation. OG right there.
Yeah.
I think she was Vietnamese too, actually.
Yeah, and I'm always interested in people's creative spaces because it's always very personal.
Right.
And it's always very like, you want your creative space to have a good vibe to make stuff, and so it's always cool to come into someone else's.
Yeah, what was your creative space? Is it just like, do you work out at home, coffee shops, or what is it?
My creative spaces are the worst.
The worst.
No, they're open mic rooms, and because I write a lot on stage. So my creative space is on stage in front of strangers.
Is it like freestyling stuff and seeing what might work?
Yeah, I can only imagine it's like, I never thought of it that way actually, but I can only imagine it's like freestyling. Well, there's as far as I know, there's two ways of doing stand-up comedy. You either prepare like extensively beforehand,
right,
or you go on stage with just rough ideas
and work it out.
And I work it out on stage. I can't really work.
Really?
Yeah, I can't do it. I can't write the thing like word for word.
But you'll write a thought out. Like you're out and about, you find something funny, you're like, okay, and just put one line.
Yeah, you write a punchline or you write a premise, and then you go on stage. And my thing is, well, the standard practice would be the textbook way to do it would be you do the old material, new material, old material sandwich.
Right.
So you hide any bad jokes in between, or new jokes that you're unsure of in
Right.
between stuff that you know will work, so that it's you have the confidence to test it out.
Well, let's take it back. When
Please.
did you start doing stand up, like in general?
I started March 2009. I actually have a video of my very first.
Oh, so like
set.
you just kind of hit the 10-year mark of
Yeah,
that.
I did.
Which is great, because the 10-year people is like always 10,000 hours. 10 years
Yeah, which
is like how you master the craft.
Yeah,
right?
as according to Macklemore, and
right.
but
Malcolm Gladwell.
Malcolm Gladwell. Apparently, it's an urban myth that 10,000 hours.
Well, yeah, it's
But either way, it's a good amount of time to spend on something.
Yeah,
Jesus,
I mean, 10 years sounds about right.
Sounds right. It feels right.
Even for me, I know rapping, and I felt like 10 years is a good kind of estimate of like what it takes.
Sure, and I'm still learning how to do it.
Right.
So I'm not like a master at it by any means. But 10 years in, I think at least you know what you don't know, at least.
Right.
At the very least,
I found it interesting, especially for you, because you've lived outside of the U.S. far longer, right?
Yeah.
In your life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And now you're like, a lot of your stand-up stuff, there's, political things about the United States and even on the Daily Show, right?
Yeah.
Like, is that something did you just grow up a lot on American culture in general?
Yeah, for sure. I grew up in Manchester, New Hampshire from when I was 3 years old to 7 years old.
Yeah.
So I left America when I was 7 years old, because my parents came to America as college students,
Right.
mature age college students. They
Mhm.
came in their late 30s with 2 kids.
And both of them went to college?
Yeah, they both came at the
Oh,
same
wow.
time
That's wild.
with
Yeah.
2 kids, and they got their masters, and they got their undergrad, and then they got their masters, and then they were good immigrants because we all left.
Right.
Like, we didn't take anyone's jobs. We just came and then
yeah.
went back to Malaysia.
I mean, that is pretty. That's a crazy hustle for immigrant parents, but because their parents, they're grinding and going to school.
No, it was crazy.
All at once.
It was crazy.
That's wild, bro.
At the time, I didn't think about it, and I didn't think we were poor. But then now I'm older, I was like, man, we were poor, man.
Right.
And they hustled a lot because they were working and taking care of 2 kids and studying. I can't do any of those 3.
Right.
at once, much less all 3 at the same time.
That's so true. Like, I always think that a lot of the new generations of Asians here, we hear so much about this like immigrant grind and struggle, and we forget like that we didn't do that shit. We're all like, we made something out of nothing. It's like, no, you didn't, motherfucker. Like, your parents did. Like, you didn't.
Pretend to be an immigrant. We can get into that in a bit. You can if you want to talk about second gen versus first gen immigrants.
Yeah.
I
I definitely think for the most part, we are spoiled in general. We work hard, but just the shit you compare to that first generation,
first
it's
gen
like
was out of control.
We're over here like,
it's out of control.
Yeah, we want the Asian representation, which is important. Don't get me wrong, but they were just like, fuck, like I gotta work, fucking 12-hour days and shit.
Yeah, but dude, you want to talk about this, man? It's an interesting point because technically I'm a first generation immigrant,
right?
Because I wasn't born here. I came here on my own, and in the 3 years I've spent here, I noticed that one of the biggest difference between first generation immigrants and second generation immigrants, I think you're second gen, obviously. Yeah, you told me earlier.
Well, actually, I was born in Argentina, and I came here when I was 3.
Oh, so that's the tough one. You might be first or second,
but I'm still pretty first. I'm first. I'm second.
Very second. Yeah, it's hard. Well, let's just say a very clear first generation and second generation difference. Like,
just checking on something.
No, please. Do you edit these? Huh? Do you edit these or you just like play?
Nah, not really. Unless you want something edited out, I'll do it. But I don't think so. I don't think we're gonna go crazy.
I think like the first gen immigrants come to America or any country, but let's just say America. They come to America, and they're not here to, like, we're not here to change the system. We're here because it's better. We feel it's better than where we came from.
Right.
So anytime first generation immigrants encounter a roadblock in whatever it is, institutional, systemic, or even just some local bullshit,
right,
they'll just like work around it to get what they want.
Yeah.
So first gen immigrants are like, I'll just,
yeah.
Where second generation immigrants, I feel like they definitely rightfully feel more entitled to certain things because they go, we're citizens here. Why can't we be president? You know,
Right.
why can't I be president? Why can't a Korean guy be president? Why can't an Asian guy be president?
Right.
If you told me, hey, Ron, you can come to America, you can be on TV, but you'll never be president, I'd be like, I don't care.
Right.
I'm that first gen immigrant mentality of like, I'm here because it's better. I just want to make shit happen.
Right.
So
right.
I don't spend, as much time like.
That first generation is just like, this is just the way shit is, and
Yeah.
we're gonna
We'll work
figure
around
it out.
it. We'll work
Yeah,
around
yeah,
it. Yeah. So obviously within limits, but yeah, I think that's a key difference. I think between first generation and second generation immigrants.
Yeah, no, I mean my parents, they've been here for 20 plus years and they still don't, speak great English.
Mm-hmm.
I think because especially in this town, a Koreatown, tons of Asians here.
Yeah.
Like I didn't grow up like the way people talk about these Asian experiences in America. Like my town was filled with Asians.
Right.
We walked around like we were the shit.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because I've toured across the country and I remember doing shows in like Wisconsin and an Asian kid would come to the show and be like, I'm the only Asian kid here.
Yeah.
Like I needed this. You know what I'm saying?
That's hilarious.
And it's interesting.
Yeah,
I think it did help me a lot as an entertainer.
Yeah.
To kind of have that confidence.
Yeah. You can tell.
And feel myself. You know what I mean? But it's just like it's a privilege.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To be in that environment.
Yeah. That K-Town, LA thing, you can tell so much stuff came out of it. So much food, so much culture, so many actors, movies, musicians.
Right.
Who I guess they just were like, I'm just gonna make stuff because no one told me I couldn't. I don't feel like I can't make stuff.
What was your environment like? I knew so you grew up mainly where exactly?
I grew up, so after New Hampshire, we moved back to Malaysia. So I was in Johor Bahru, Malaysia, and then I would go to school in Singapore. So I was in Singapore for like 10 years.
Right.
And then I don't really differentiate between Malaysia and Singapore because my hometown in Malaysia, Johor Bahru, is the border town to Singapore. So it's
very similar.
It's Manhattan, New Jersey. It's Oakland, San Fran.
Yeah,
it's a bridge. I would wake up in Malaysia in the morning and then go to Singapore for school.
Right.
Like I go to different countries for school. And so I don't really differentiate between the two. And then I went to Australia for law school. So
you went to school up to college in Singapore too?
No, just high school.
High school.
Yeah. Law school in Australia is undergraduate.
And was this already like you were just, cracking jokes in school?
No, not really.
Not really?
No, I don't think so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It was just there was no interest in like necessarily comedy. It was just, you were just being a high school kid there.
Yeah. Just being and then, I spent 10 years in Australia and then I moved here just 4 years ago.
Damn, so you were going to law school and somehow transitioned into like the interest of comedy.
Yeah, I was in law school and my final year of law school, I was doing like this 5-year double degree course in law. I was getting my law degree and I was getting my like commerce degree at the same time, like a degree in finance. I was doing both at the same time. And then towards the end, my final year of it, I just started doing comedy.
The final year.
Yeah, final year. I just started doing stand-up comedy.
Like
and
an Asian parent's worst nightmare. The last year of law school. And
no, I finished law school. So
okay. So you had the nice little card,
yeah.
I got this shit done. I could do whatever the fuck I want.
Kind of. And then I just I was getting more work from comedy than I was in law. Like I couldn't get a job.
Right.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
So I just did comedy.
You see, that's interesting because people have this perception like you're gonna starve if you just choose one path or the other, or one is easier than the other. But that's not true. I mean, everything is hard.
Everything is hard. I think everything is hard, and I think you're right. Everything is hard, and you'll starve either way. You might as well.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah, I think Jim Carrey had like a really good commencement speech talking about his father who was like an electrician.
Yeah.
And he wanted, he was funny and he wanted to do comedy, but he just kind of never took that chance on it. But Jim was saying like he felt like he kind of fucked up because he, you can fuck up in anything. He lost a job as an electrician and couldn't find work for years and stuff. So it's like might as well have taken that chance.
Yeah.
And, either way.
Yeah. And I think that mentality, navigating uncertainty, I think is something that they don't really teach in school. It's up there with, how to do your taxes and like what is the stock market, like practical life skills. Like I think navigating uncertainty is something that I think people of all ages need, but especially if you're
how would they
in your
teach that in
20s,
school?
in your early 20s. No, just honestly, just go. Look, I don't know the formal curriculum, but it will be like just explaining. Look at historically everyone who's done something that was not low risk.
Right.
Don't even say high risk things. Let's just say things that want like the minimizing risk idea, like start your own business or do whatever it was, or you know, entertainment, and then you look at them and you see how their paths went, and you'll see that it's like most people, I think, it's you have no idea how the hell what's gonna happen. You do a first thing that is nowhere near what you wanted to do, and then that thing opens the door to the next thing, opens the door to the next thing, opens the door to the next thing.
Right.
And then you look backwards and you're like, oh, all that stuff linked up. But when you're on this side of the door, you can't see any of that. You know, and just knowing that, oh, this is how you navigate the feeling of uncertainties, ups, downs, and then if you get you make your own luck, and then you need to be ready for opportunities when they come, so you're ready, you know, stuff like that.
That is true. I feel like, you know, we get all these inspirational stories of people's journey, or like on websites, or quick little short form 2-minute videos with like emotional music behind it online. But like at school, like you don't hear any of this stuff of people in the last 10 years or whatever. It's always like someone from hundreds of years ago or whatnot. So yeah, you're right. That's I think in the school system, it's pretty broken in that way.
Sure, yeah. I mean, there's bigger problems in school systems, but I think navigating uncertainty is it feels like it's a large source of anxiety. At least it was a source of anxiety for me in college, when I was in university. It was like, what's gonna happen? You know, everyone gets scared. Let's do the least amount of risk. Let's go to this corporate job. It seems like the surest way to make a living. Make a good living.
Wait, when you think about that, like, because you were prepared to kind of go into that world, right?
Yeah.
And was that something? I don't know how you felt about it in particular. Were you like kind of dreading it in a sense, or were you just kind of ready for it?
I actually wasn't dreading it. I was actually looking forward to it. I actually had a dream job offer, I thought at the time, with in Malaysia. Yeah. So I couldn't get a job in Australia. But in Malaysia, go figure, Malaysia is picking up the scraps. They offered me this. It was this technology consulting job at Accenture in Kuala Lumpur. It was at the time. It was like, oh fuck, this is the dream job. Right. You know, consulting in technology, and it's not like boring law stuff.
For the field you're in, that would be considered like a dream job.
No, it's just my personal interest.
Oh, your personal interest.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
cool.
You know, not as boring as law. It seems exciting and fun. It has to do with technology. It's consulting is always like it seems like it's exciting as far as corporate jobs go. So I had to turn that job down. That's the only clear kind of turn down a corporate job or do comedy choice I had to make. That was the only one.
That's a pretty big one, man.
Yeah, it was. But then also at the same time, I think it's bigger if I was actually working in a job and had to quit. Because that would mean income that was coming in, I would have cut it off.
That's a good point. I always share this thing of it was easier for me to kind of go into the entertainment industry because I didn't have a lot of shit going for me already.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Yeah, it's like you have a shitty job, you can always go back to your shitty job.
Yeah.
You know, but the more you climb up that corporate ladder, like you have a lot to lose, and it gets riskier, and you get more comfortable with the money you're making and all that. It's hard to quit that.
And by the way, like in most corporate jobs, you eat a ton of shit starting out. So you spend time eating shit. Why would you quit when you're just getting over that part? You know, I mean, you'll eat shit your whole time, but you know, I mean, you eat the most shit when you're at the lower levels. Yeah. It's like investment banking, you know, like people are like, oh, work in investment banking for a few years and quit. And some people do, you know. But some people are like, why would you quit right when you're starting to make the money? Like you've been sacrificing for that.
That's true.
So yeah, no, I'm agreeing with you that we basically, I mean, I don't know about you, you can argue I probably had something to lose. I could have gone into law. Right. But I really felt like I had nothing to lose because I was like, oh, whatever, I'll just do this if it doesn't work out.
What did that mean though? What did going into comedy mean? Just like, now I'm just going to go do the clubs and is that what that is? Or?
It meant like, instead of finding proper work, which I had plenty of time to do, I started out by doing one show a month in Melbourne. And keep in mind, at this time I was still finishing up law school and trying to pass the bar, so I was like kind of technically a student. Yeah. But I was starting to do gigs around Melbourne, and I was doing one a month, and I thought that was like, oh my god, one show a month was like I'm like almost professional at this level. Like
Right.
oh my god, like I'm a professional comic. And then you get like one every 2 weeks, and then you start get one a week, and then maybe
a couple times a week.
But in Australia you can't really do more than one.
Well, yeah, it's a smaller scene,
smaller
too,
market,
right?
yeah. So if you're doing one a week in Melbourne, Australia, you're killing it.
That's like the regular. Yeah, you're a regular.
Yeah, you could do maybe 2 a week. I mean, the record you could do. One time I tried to break the record in Melbourne, Australia. You could probably do like one every day, but then you wouldn't be doing that the next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You the next week you wouldn't be booked anymore. You'd be
I always find like scenes interesting in different cities, like in Seoul, Korea. It's like, and there's like so many fucking rappers and musicians and shit, and like they play like they're all getting booked for the same shit every week, every weekend.
Right.
So like they'll do tons of shows in one weekend, and all of them they keep booking them, which is kind of wild. Like they keep booking them every weekend, that same city.
Right.
I think people just love that dose of entertainers. Like
interesting.
It's a big country on entertainment. Is just really important.
Right.
Big, K-pop and all that shit is
cool.
huge out there.
That's cool that they look inwards for that.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do. And there was a time for a long time where American they fly over American entertainers, tons of money all the time. But now they're just like, oh, we don't need anybody.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so I was doing open mics, trying to figure out, and Melbourne's open mic scene is pretty decent, I have to say.
Yeah.
Compared to New York's open mic scene, which is pretty brutal.
Right.
So it's pretty decent scene, pretty supportive. And in Melbourne, Australia, there's a Melbourne Comedy Festival. It's a huge festival. It lasts for 1 month. And everyone in Australia kind of builds up to that festival.
Right.
For better or for worse. It kind of takes over our lives.
It's the final culmination of
So in Australia, we're trained to within 2 or 3 years of doing stand-up comedy, you're supposed to do like 1 hour every year. So we come from that culture of like you do a 1 hour show every year at this festival for 1 month, every day, 1 hour every day.
Holy shit.
So I would build up towards that. I mean, I started off doing 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I got invited to a festival to perform 10 minutes or 15. Right. And then by my third year was when I had my first hour. So I did my first hour in 2012. And that's kind of how you build it. But there's no answers. I know you're asking what's the scene like. Yeah, I guess it's kind of like that. It's very friendly. It's not. There's not like there's maybe at the time there was 2 comedy clubs in Melbourne, Australia, which is I guess a lot, and a lot of small little bar rooms.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you eventually moved.
But I guess what I want to say is I contrast like New York, where it's like 20 shows a night. Going on. You can get stage time. Some of them bad stage time.
Right. And New York, just the audience is different, even to LA.
Yeah.
So after the scene out there, you eventually moved out here. Is that what happened? Or
no, I got hired on the Daily Show. I moved out here for a Daily Show.
Directly for them, and you auditioned out there, or what?
So what happened was I was doing okay in Australia. So in Australia, I guess I was kind of like the Hannibal Buress. I'm not as good as Hannibal, but like I'm just saying in terms of the following.
Right.
I was doing my own theaters. Mm-hmm. I didn't have any TV.
Right.
Because it's hard to get TV in Australia, especially for voices like me and like my generation of people who are comics from my generation. We all did it without TV because we couldn't get on.
Right.
And it kind of helped us a bit because stand-up is supposed to be a little subversive. Mm-hmm. It's supposed to be like a little bit alternative. It's supposed to be like
it has an underground thing to it. Yeah.
And so when you're not on TV and people hear about you, the only way they can watch you is watch you live.
Right.
So you would, build a following that way. So I kind of made, I decreased supply, increased demand. I benefited from increased demand. And then I was selling out theaters and stuff. So I was doing okay in Australia. And then I did a show with Trevor at Montreal at Just for Laughs in Canada in 2013. I did a show together with him at the Eddie Izzat Gala. And then 2 years later, I had a good set. We talked a little bit, but we didn't really exchange numbers or anything. And then 2 years later, I get this email asking me to audition for a Daily Show. So
that's tight.
I auditioned for it, and I suspected he was the one who pushed for me. And a year later, I confirmed
from his experience with you or whatnot.
He wanted someone to represent Asian people on the
Right.
show because he felt it was like this huge population of people that's underrepresented. He didn't have to do that, you know. He could have gone his friend who he's closer with, or I'm sure he has closer friends who are much funnier than me. But he's like, no man, I need an Asian dude on the Asian person on the show, and I'm lucky to have been the person.
Was this like a self-tape situation? Or?
Yeah, so I self-taped, and then I flew down. I had to write my own segment, and then I performed my own segment.
Your
and then
segment like a piece, like a journalistic piece.
No, like a Daily Show segment.
Oh,
so
okay,
they're like,
okay,
hey, here's a topic, write about this. The way we do on the show.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and then then they gave me a piece which was already written to just perform.
Oh, that's amazing.
So,
well, what was your segment about? Like,
I think it was about how Facebook is making everyone like stupid.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I think I saw like a bit you did on it.
Yeah. Facebook is making people so fucking stupid. When people argue about politics, like you're gonna change someone's mind through the Socratic method. Then I flew to New York to do a in-studio audition with him. Yeah. And then got the job.
The great thing is like a lot of the comedians who are like correspondents on the Daily Show, like they carry themselves like they could be a news anchor or journal. Like, was that your first time kind of switching into that mode a
absolutely.
little bit?
I don't come from that. I don't come from politics at all. Like I follow US politics a lot, to answer your first question at the start of the podcast. Like I've always followed American politics. I've always watched The West Wing, you know, all that stuff.
So that was jam. One thing
that's my world.
Yeah, so that helped you get into this. That I was always curious about everybody on that show, like if that's something that they're into, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I can see how a correspondent might not be necessarily into that, but I think you join the show, and if you join it and you love it and you respect it, like I've always loved the Daily Show, but I never thought of being on it other than in a selfish show busy way, like I want to be on TV,
like getting interviewed or something. Yeah.
Oh no, as in being part of the show.
Oh yeah.
Like career wise, I always man, it would be awesome to be on, but I never like aspired to. This is my ultimate goal. So because I never thought I was like a strong at satire, like political satire. That's not my forte. So when they asked me on the show, but because I have so much love for the show, I respect it. When I got there, you can't help but be influenced by you know these how the show and all these people who've been there for literally 20-15 years doing this stuff. They're the pioneers. They created American satire, and so you get influenced by that, and then you become more political. You start to understand how to write jokes better. Write jokes with meaning. Write jokes that speak to something.
That is true too. I feel like as I get older, and my relationship with art changes. Now it's like I want to do meaningful art.
Exactly. Same.
That comes with getting older and having a respect for things you want to say and the responsibility you might hold as well.
I don't know about rapping, but I feel like with comedy, you try to get a point of view, a very clear point of view that only you can express, and so people want to come and hear your unique point of view. So, and then you mature as well, and so like what you just said. So one of the key things at Daily Show is like, when I started comedy, it was like, just make these fucking people laugh, right? What do I need to say to make these fucking people laugh? And then we start working at a Daily Show, and one of the main things is like, well, what are we trying to say with this joke? What are we trying to say? What does this joke say? What are we trying to say? Like, what is the ultimate thing that people are gonna get away from this? What are we making fun of? That kind of stuff. So then it starts influencing you, and I was in a weird zone in my comedy at that time as well. I was like already, I could feel it kind of changing, like I could feel it maturing where it wasn't there yet. And joining the show was like this perfect kind of like finding a voice and finding a next level of performing and being surrounded by these people.
Okay, so going into this, your role on the Daily Show, and I've seen your reports. I love it. I think it's so great that like there's perfect moments to have an Asian correspondent for these segments. You know what I'm saying? Like that. I mean, with the actual candidates coming up, are you like Yang Gang? Is that? Are you actually? Or I mean, you don't have to share your political.
No, dude, I'm the Yang Gang just because I think it's awesome to see this Asian guy.
Right.
I mean, as long as he's not a Nazi, I think.
Right.
Yeah, dude.
So that ass when you were doing that segment, you were just like, Like it was for real. Like, oh yeah, there's something about you. You're this Asian dude. I'm gonna rock with you.
No, that's
like,
a running joke in the show. Is that every
right.
time I interview an Asian man, on the show, every
like,
interview I do, we open it with, I don't know, is there something about this guy? So I've done like 4 interviews where there's an Asian dude.
Yeah.
And every time we open a piece of like, there's just something about this guy that makes me trust him.
Right.
And what I did, Andrew Yang, what was cool is he brought me on board because just like most people, hearing his ideas, you think it's a fringe idea. And it is a fringe idea. But his thing is, he goes, one of his main things is that the way the system is set up now, it's humans supporting the system. All the people in America are working to support the system. And he says, we should have a system that works for the people. And so he's trying to do that paradigm shift. And one of the ways he's trying to do that paradigm shift is he's saying that America is so advanced in innovation. America's a leader in innovation.
Right.
One of the things we're leading in is technology and AI and automation. So we are pushing it, in America, we're like the forefront of all this stuff where technology meets capitalism. But now that benefit is coming down to the workers. In fact, it's hurting them. We're losing, jobs.
It's like we're creating a monster.
Yeah. So he's saying that we should flip that. And one of the ways he's flipping that is by giving universal basic income. He's saying that we should all benefit from the benefits of automation that, that's enabling Amazon and Google and to amass these profits through automation. So he's suggesting this radical paradigm shift, which you go universal basic income, which is, it's not even that radical an idea, to be honest, but that's the logic behind it. So he's trying to shift it so that the system supports the people,
right,
as opposed to the other way around. And so he's logical. He's a very good speaker.
Right.
I think he's charismatic. He's got good ideas. He's got the outsider because he's coming from a tech startup background. Right. So I really like it. I also like the fact that he's an Asian guy.
Right.
Like, what the fuck? Like, he's an Asian guy doing that.
To be honest, I did not even see that shit coming.
What do you mean?
No, him as an Asian dude as a candidate. I didn't see it coming. Like, I don't think a lot of us did, right?
We were all like, there's no way. We've never seen that before. So isn't that cool to be like, yeah, this guy's why not? He's not a crazy person. He sounds legit. He sounds like he's a rational.
Yeah, I mean, it's like eventually we would have seen it come, but I did not think it was gonna come like this election. This dude from like this. I've never even heard of the dude before this. But. Yeah, and now like I got all the homies, not even Asian, that's coming up to me like, Yang Gang.
Yeah.
Like he's a new SoundCloud rapper. He's like Yang Gang.
He's like Jeremy Lin. Yeah. Jeremy Lin. Like when Jeremy Lin was in NBA, it was like, it's like, oh my God, like this Asian dude in the NBA. Yeah, like that feeling. So I don't know if Yang Gang is quite because I think he does a good job of appealing to all races. He's not like, he doesn't just do the Asian thing.
No, a lot of the people who's really shared these ideas
are non-Asian,
and they want to talk to me about it because I'm Asian.
Yeah, exactly.
you know what I'm saying? It's like, what do you think about Yang Gang? That's like when Psy's Gangnam Style came out. It's like, what are your thoughts on Gangnam Style?
Exactly.
It's like,
So I guess he can't be worse than anyone else running. It's my opinion, and I just like seeing an Asian dude running, and that's because I'm not an American citizen. I can't vote, and I'm a comedian.
Right.
So my priorities are completely different. My thing is like, I just think this thing is cool.
That's a interesting thing you just said. As an person not from this country, like, do you think it's helped your kind of perspective on American politics and especially as using it in entertainment?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, we're stand-up comics, man. We're here to poke. We're here to poke the tiger.
Yeah, and it's observational. It's observing it, and it's and the more you can get outside of that bubble, I think it's better, right?
Yeah, we make fun of institutions. We're here to poke fun at everything, And so my attitude going in is like, I'm poking. Like, we do satire, man. Mm-hmm. Satire is people are gonna get angry. We're making fun of people who we think are wrong.
Right.
So people who are wrong are gonna get angry. It's not propaganda. We're not doing puff pieces here. We're doing satire, man, and we're comics.
Right.
We come out swinging. Like, it's a subversive art form. So that's how I feel about it, anyway.
Yeah, I saw this. I think a bit. I was like researching before I did this interview a little bit, and I saw a bit you were doing in Switzerland or something.
Oh.
And that crowd looked fucking rough, bro. Am I tripping? Like, they just seem like kind of like a tough crowd in a way.
Oh, because they want English speaking. I was doing comedy in English. It was in Montreux, Switzerland.
Yeah, and they was that what that was? Like the language thing, like.
Maybe I sucked. I don't know.
No, I thought it was great. No, I thought it was great. I was actually just surprised with I don't know if I didn't feel like the crowd was like laughing as hard as they should on that.
Oh, maybe I just sucked at it. I don't know. Yeah. But it was. I mean, I don't want to blame. I never want to blame the crowd.
No. Yeah.
So it was Montreux, Switzerland.
Right.
So
right.
I mean, that was, and I think I was talking about
Trump.
Yeah, I was talking about Trump in Switzerland. So I mean,
yeah,
literally the neutral country. They're not gonna tip their hat either way. They're like, this is funny or not funny. I don't know.
That I always found it interesting that like one of the biggest comedy festivals are in Montreal.
Montreal,
you know?
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, like
I don't know how that came about, but it's very European, so that makes sense. Like comedy festivals are not an American thing. Comedy festivals are very British, European style.
That's true. There's more, and then like in the last couple years, there's been a lot more, right? Like Oddball. All that
but
stuff.
The way Americans do comedy festivals is totally different. The way we do comedy festivals in Australia and the UK is it's a month long. Everyone does 1 hour every night for 1 month, and you spend. Have you Edinburgh Fringe, which I've done?
Yeah, I know of it. Yeah,
3 or 4 times I've done it now. It's like marathon. You wake up, you flyer to get people to come to your show. You watch other people's shows. You perform your own show. You go watch other people's shows. You go perform other spots around town. You end up at the artist bar drinking until about 4 a.m. You go to sleep and then you wake up the next day, and Groundhog Day. And for 30 days. Groundhog Day.
Jesus
people,
Christ.
it's people break, and the first year you go, you don't know how to deal with it, and you just go crazy, and then you lose your mind. And then second, you come back. Hopefully, you understand the importance of mental health and taking care of yourself and going for a walk on Arthur's Seat.
It's hard when you're working like that to even at a moment feel like, I'm gonna try to go out there and get inspired by watching all these people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because at that point you still gotta be like, I gotta
show.
get through the next day.
Yeah.
But then do this again and again for fucking 30 days.
High pressure. It's a lot of competing acts. So my point is that's how we do it outside of America. I always admired how America was like with comedy. They're always like 10 minutes. Just 10 minutes. Have your killer 10. So you go to Just for Laughs Montreal with the American comics, and their 10 minutes was like world class. They've been doing it for like 3 years. Right. Every night we've been killing this thing, and we would do it. We would be bringing like the best 10 minutes from our 1 hour. So sometimes it wouldn't be as tight or whatever, or maybe references weren't right for America. We come to Montreal and it'd be like, it'd be like the Jamaican bobsled team,
right,
in the Olympics, like trying to compete with them. But it was good. Like it pushed us to be better. Yeah.
Did you know the other comedians on Crazy Rich before the movie?
I knew of Nora. I met her first day. It was just me and her. She's
first
awesome.
Scene, like shooting?
No, not even first scene. We were there before anyone.
Oh, right.
And she was just hanging. I think she was doing pre-production. Maybe she filmed one scene or something. And I got there, and it was just the two of us. And so we were hanging out. And KL's kind of like, it's not my city. KL's not my city, but I know it. I've toured there before.
Right.
And so we were like, I was trying to bring her out.
Yeah.
And Nora. It's just crazy. Yeah, Nora's the best. I love Nora.
Yeah.
And so we were hanging out and all that. But I knew of her. I never actually met her. And then I knew,
like Ken Jeong and
I knew
like,
of Ken. I never met any of them.
Okay.
The only one I knew, the only one I've met briefly was Chris, because we're all Australia.
Oh, right.
So he was the only one. But other than that, we all met on set on the project.
That's amazing, bro. And there's so many good just stand-ups there, like with you and Jimmy O Yang and
Nico.
Ken. Yeah,
Nico,
Ken. Nico. Yeah.
Sean, Nico.
Yeah,
Ken,
that's
Nora, world class.
Yeah, just y'all could literally do a fucking stand-up special. Oh yeah, you did, right?
Yeah,
in LA.
We did a show. Yeah,
I couldn't make that, but I heard it was amazing.
Yeah, we did a Crazy Rich Asian stand-up show. And I mean, I don't want, dude. I mean, you don't. Honestly, I don't like to pat myself on the back of this stuff, but honestly, that the comedic talent on that thing, we would go and it would be like, John Chu would sometimes he would just go for it.
Right.
Just go for it right now, because we have a single locked off. just whatever, just improvise the whole thing, and then we just go. Nora was improvising.
Right.
Sometimes we would go and rewrite the script, like so. There was a lot of like comedic improvising on set and stuff.
And that's amazing because like you wouldn't normally get an opportunity to bring these like Avengers of fucking Asian comedic talent.
Sure,
like
I mean I don't want to call ourselves the Avengers of it, what to be all. But
I mean there's OGs in the game. I'm just saying it's like there's not a lot of opportunity to get Asian comedic talent, all like multiple cats doing it.
Like those guys had serious chops. All these guys, Ken, Nico, Jim, Nora, serious comedy chops with the timing, and
Nora was telling me when she was at the comedy show where you guys were playing back to back. Like she said that shit was incredible. Like she really came out. Like she was like,
she's awesome.
She was blown away by that. Like watching all of you guys back to back. It was just like, and then ending with like I think Ken finished the show or something, and he just like blew it up the roof. He said it was amazing.
It was great. It was great, and we that's what we do every night. Like every night we try to go out. I'm running around New York City just trying to hit that, just trying to get better at it and write new material. So it's fun to be able to showcase that, and it's interesting bringing those skill sets into a feature film and try to make it a completely different medium. And you're hanging out with people who are legit world-class actors and comedians,
right?
And you have to roll with the punches with them, and like like Nora's like you gotta keep up with Nora, like she's every line she's killing it.
It's crazy because like I've been seeing more of these like Asian comedy showcases. You know what I'm saying? Like that's like I've really that's like there was a lot in Los Angeles especially because there's a shitload of Asians here. It's not like really that rare for Asians doing like things showcases and shit. But like I'm going to one tonight. Asian comedians.
Oh, what is it?
It's called Crazy Woke Asians, actually.
Oh, that's fun.
Which is hilarious because I didn't even think about it. It's off of Crazy Rich Asians. But there's like
maybe I should go to that.
If you want to roll, there's literally eight Asian comedians on it. It's an hour-and-a-half show.
Yeah. This brings us to another interesting point. I don't know if you want to discuss it, but I haven't been in America, so I don't know if there's more now. I mean, I have nothing to compare it to, but I've definitely seen a lot.
The showcase. They didn't really have that out there, huh? Did they? Like the all Asian kind of showcases?
No, because it was me and two other guys in Australia.
So you guys were the only.
Yeah,
Asian
we were the showcase. Like I think it was Michael Hing at that time. There was Jason Chong. But I mean there wasn't a lot. Like it was just,
that's so it's so interesting that's why the Asian history is being like written so like now like you have 30-year-olds who are OGs in this in the industry because I mean there's of course the OG Mount Rushmore. They're almost like the ancestors. Like
you gotta pray, burn the incense. Come in the comedy club.
They're like, dude, I'm only 45. But for real, I feel like that too. Like I'm in my early 30s, but even when I was coming up, there was like I was one of few Asians doing it
because you and it's conceited to say, but because you are. Because you are.
There wasn't many,
OG,
for sure.
And you're setting the tone.
And then the few people above me, it was like they were old OGs,
And did you start out doing like, this is an honest question, this isn't loaded. Did you start to, you just wanted to be a rapper? You didn't care about the Asian shit, or
no, I mean, no, not at all. That's a funny thing because you become an Asian entertainer, and when you do interviews and stuff, they talk about the Asian American like representation and all that. Yeah. But no, I wanted to get girls when I started rapping. I was fucking 14 years old. I just wanted to go to house parties, impress girls, get free drinks, and like and it worked. I was a nerdy like skinny dude with braces and shit. But when I was freestyling, people were like, damn, you were good. And then but it mixed in because I was really into comedy too. So when I got really known in the battle rap world, which was kind of mixing in
killer.
Yeah, so I got to mix in both.
That's
of like
awesome.
Roasting somebody.
That's awesome.
And in rhyme form.
That's
so
awesome.
It was like the perfect thing for me.
Yeah.
But then I mean that's what happens. You don't become an ambitious like young person being like, I'm gonna put Asians on the map. Like that's not the main thing. First you just love doing it.
Yeah.
You get obsessed with the craft.
Yeah.
And I think the meaning kind of just comes later, the more deeper meaning of why you do it and you caring about certain causes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like I didn't jump into the shit caring about shit. I was just a kid.
Same.
Yeah. But
and so it's interesting, you do shows and like I didn't come up through Asian shows. So you had to come out and
exactly.
You just had to kill it. It doesn't matter.
Same. And that's when that's where real tests comes from, because that's not a comfort zone.
Yeah, out of your comfort zone, surrounded by people who who are not invested in your outcome.
Oh yeah.
And you gotta come out and you have to nail it.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the if it's Asian showcase, whatever, there's more support there.
That's fair to say. I think that's fair to say, right?
That's fair to say, for sure. There's more support there. I mean, that's great. We need the support too.
Yeah.
But the other places, they want to see you kind of like fuck up. Like,
well, yeah. I mean, well, let's just say, even if they don't want to see you fuck up, that like if you do fuck up, there's zero tolerance.
Oh, you're right
for that. So yeah,
I will agree with that. Like, as soon as you slip, they're like, okay, I'm done. I'm checking out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So yeah. I mean, and so it's interesting. Like, you come up through that, and then you still, like, one thing I found interesting about the Asian American culture. It's so many issues to unpack. Like, one thing is like how they. I feel like Asian American culture. Like, is it the story of Asian Americans in America? Are they what they're trying to push? Is it promoting Asian culture in America, or are they trying to say we're not Asian, we're American? Stop calling us Asian.
Right.
And those are two contradicting philosophies, right?
True.
And it's always if you try to do one thing, you just screw it away.
Right.
If you try to push Asian culture, you're like, why you always gotta be Asian? Why can't you just be American?
Right.
I'm talking from the Asian people, not even the white people.
Get you. Yeah.
And then if you go the other way, you're like, yo, why are you not talking about Asian shit? You're just talking about all this white, like.
That's true.
So yeah, this is interesting battle going on.
Yeah, I've definitely. I remember I used to hate, like when I was younger.
Yeah.
I used to hate being labeled an Asian rapper.
Yeah.
A lot of people go through that. They're like, I want to be respected as a rapper.
Yeah.
Not just an Asian rapper. But you get older and you also kind of have this realization, like, you can't run away from that.
Yeah.
Like when I hop on stage, the first thing motherfuckers gonna think, like, look at this Asian dude.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, like, especially in hip hop, where there isn't many, they're gonna see that.
Yeah.
And you can try as hard as you want to get away from that, but you're not. So now I almost I go kind of straight head on to it.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm an Asian rapper. I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
you're more secure of yourself as well.
I'm very secure, and I like repping, and I'm proud of that. I think it's because nobody really likes to see person of any race or any background not proud of that. Whether you're black, Latino, whatever. That's like, you can't respect that.
Absolutely.
I feel that. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, like, it's interesting. Like, even the Asian American culture, I feel like calling it Asian American is just like oversimplification of this huge diaspora that, like, it created a strong voting bloc and like a kind of rallying banner, Asian American.
Right.
But man, as much as I do, the amount of factions that you're trying to unite under one banner is, the permutations are almost infinite. You're talking Koreans, Japanese, Thais, Burmese, Malaysians, Indonesians, Filipinos. Then you got Chinese Filipinos, Chinese Malaysians, Chinese Indonesians.
And the thing is, people don't understand the relationships they have with each other.
Whoa, yo,
because motherfuckers are like, we're more racist with each other than the people from the outside.
Yeah.
You'll have like a Chinese and Korean dude like shitting on each other, and people outside are like, what are they arguing about? Like, they don't even realize how racist they're going at each other. It's
then
wild.
Just in China alone, the different dialect groups already don't like each other.
Right.
Then you got Hong Kong, Taiwan, and then you have all of that, but the American version of that, the American Japanese, American Koreans, American Thais, American Thai Chinese, American Filipino Chinese. So, which are like, and as well, the American Koreans are different to the Korean Koreans.
Oh, yeah.
And American Chinese Filipinos are different to the Chinese Filipinos. So, I'm talking about, you're trying to unite all these people under one thing. And, we just go.
That is I do find that really funny with all the Asian representation happening in Hollywood, because not everyone relates to anybody. Like, it could be a Chinese dude on screen.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean like a Korean dude is like rooting for him necessarily, or the opposite or whatnot. That's the fucking most funny thing about that situation.
But because it's too complicated.
It is complicated.
To try to figure it out. So it's just like, whatever, just Asian, just go.
Right. Let's run with it. We're gonna do it.
And that was cool about the movie. People got behind it.
That's true. That movie, I will say, people got
behind it.
Like, everybody was like, we're rocking with it.
Yeah.
No matter what type of Asian you are, we're gonna.
People got behind it, and I'm we're very lucky that they did and that it spoke to enough people. And what I love about the movie also is that it doesn't over-explain anything. They don't try to explain. Like, if we made that movie 10 years ago, there would be, 2 minutes explaining what dumplings are. They'd be like, oh, it's dumplings been there for thousands of years. We fold it in the thing, and then we boil it, and then we eat it.
That's so funny.
It's like, just make it. We know what that is. Just make it.
It's so unnatural when you're explaining
it. We don't explain. We don't even explain the mahjong scene.
Right.
You do the mahjong scene, go figure it out.
That's hilarious.
And you get the emotion that's happening, and the specifics, go Google it. Like, figure it out. And
that's true. I didn't even think about this whole part. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't explain stuff. Yeah, there's an Asian dude, and he works in fine. There's this guy, he's kissing a girl. Yeah.
Right.
Just whatever, like, we don't explain. Don't explain shit. The only thing we explained was, like, stuff to the story, like the family.
Yeah.
But everyone gets behind family dynamics.
But even the whole rich part of like how people are rich in it, there's not much explanation in there.
Yeah, we know, we
like
get
motherfuckers
it.
are rich.
Yeah. So how come these people, but they're from Asia, aren't they poor?
Right.
We don't need to explain that. We get it. So just move on. So I like that it didn't explain anything.
Yeah. Well, Ronny, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate you.
Love you, man.
I appreciate your comedy. I love everybody. A lot of the cast I know too on Crazy Rich, and I love everybody. They're great. And you guys are all hilarious and killing it in your own fucking journey right now.
Yeah, we're trying to make it work.
Yeah, man. Asians are killing in Hollywood, but the Asians on that movie are killing it extra hard in Hollywood.
I don't know about that, but thanks for your support. It's nice that people get behind it, and they like, we were the lucky few chosen out of a lot of talented people. And it's nice that people are so encouraging with it.
And I'm dropping this on Wednesday, and you're just about to go on tour. So why don't you plug that? Like,
I'm on tour in Australia. You got Australia listeners?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, okay.
I feel like there's a strong Asian kind of
really
internet presence from Australia.
There is, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're different to Asian Americans, man. Asian Australians.
Yeah, all the hot girls I follow on Instagram are from Australia. The hot Asian ones. They're from there for some reason.
For real?
Yeah, I don't know why. I don't know. I've never
think
been to. I'd love to go. Ronny Chieng.
Thanks, man. Oh, I'm on tour. Auckland, Sydney, Melbourne, Canberra. Next, the first week of July. Check my website.
Thanks for coming on the show. Tune in next week for another episode. Yee.